Trump is convening a cabinet-level meeting as Israel launched what it called preemptive strikes against Iran. A White House official and two sources familiar with plans told me and Kylie Atwood the meeting was planned before the strike, the sources said. The meeting was expected to focus on U.S. response to developing events in Iran. Trump was seen leaving the congressional picnic at the White House shortly after 8 p.m. The White House declined to comment. Times of Israel correspondent with the IDF talking points. The IDF confirms it has launched an aerial campaign against Iran's nuclear program. Dozens of targets across Iran related to the nuclear program and other military facilities are being struck by the Israeli Air Force. It says the operation is dubbed Strength of a Lion. The IDF says Iran has enough enriched uranium to build several bombs within days. Within days. Oh my God. Since like the fucking 90s, Iran is 3 seconds to midnight from building a nuclear weapon. They have enriched uranium. They are literally one day out. Sirens that sounded across Israel a short while ago were a preemptive warning issued by the IDF ahead of a possible reaction by Iran. It's so crazy because it's like U.S. regularly castigates Iran as the key threat to Middle East stability for the third, fourth, fifth time since October 7. Many in Washington are counting on Iranian restraint to prevent spiraling bloodshed across the region. And there is, of course, serious reason to doubt Tehran. Key context in the moment. Netanyahu demonstrated lack of concern for Israeli civilian life. The U.S. under both Biden and Trump declining to use this huge leverage to force restraint from Tel Aviv. Make or break moment for a new nuclear deal Israel opposes is in less than a month. It's crazy, man. Oh, yeah, I saw this list. Look. 1992, Iran is 3 to 5 years from nuclear capability. Okay. 1993, Iran is pursuing nuclear close to capability. Iran 3 to 5 years from in 1995. 1996, Iran's nuclear acquisition could be catastrophic. Deadline extremely close. Iran's nuclear program, a global threat. Iran aggressively pursuing nuclear weapons. Since 1992, Israel has released, every single year, Israel has released another statement about Iran being 5 seconds away from having a nuke. Iran is days away. Iran days away from enriching uranium for a bomb. And of course, today they struck Tehran, residential buildings. An apartment building in Tehran was torn in half as a result of Israeli missile strike. No word on the casualties yet. Okay. This is a direct attack at civilians. Elant News says among the targets of the Israeli attacks in Iran are senior Iranian figures within the Iranian regime. They struck the capital. They struck the capital with. They struck they struck Tehran in a densely populated civilian area, and clearly, I mean, they used some imprecise and some more precise weapons targeting capabilities. Here is one of the examples of the more precise ones that like blows up an entire apartment, just the apartment itself. Still obviously very dangerous for everyone else involved as well. And the reality of the matter is, if Iran were to do the exact same thing, if Iran were to respond in kind, if Iran were to fucking think about it, imagine Iran attacking Tel Aviv and blowing up an entire fucking apartment in the middle of Tel Aviv and killing an Israeli official and their families. Like, imagine what that would look like. Imagine what kind of chaos would unfold in that process. And of course, as always, as is the case when the manufacturing consent machine has to kick into high gear, notice how Naftali Bennett is on. Immediately, we get like, whether Israel is attacked or whether Israel is doing the attacking, and in usual instances is Israel doing the attacking, we immediately go to an Israeli official for the contextualization of why this attack was a necessity and why this attack was actually at the behest of defending Israel.
The whole Middle East and the world would become hell if Iran gets nuclear weapons, and then it would cascade
he's right.
Everyone, because Turkey would want nuclear weapons, Egypt would want, everyone would want, and we'd have literally a nuclear heaven, nuclear hell in the Middle East.
But just to be clear, you do believe that Israel has the capability to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities that may be underground or otherwise hardened?
look, I'm finished being prime minister about 3 years ago, so it's I can't tell you precisely. I certainly believe that we have the ability to destroy major parts of the nuclear program and to throw them back a lot in their race towards acquiring weapons.
Information. This was indeed a strike against Iran's nuclear program and other military targets. That military official called it
I know I can rewind. We'll look at it later. I want to see this.
Offensive in terms of the operation itself.
Chatters,
this,
shut the fuck up.
Series of strikes, it seems, went after its nuclear program and the regime's long-range missile capabilities. Dozens, quote, dozens of targets in different areas across Iran. In terms of the reasoning behind why Israel carried these strikes out now, especially right before the U.S. and Iran were set to hold their 6th round of negotiations when it comes to trying to reach a nuclear deal. Israel believed that Iran had significantly advanced towards obtaining a nuclear weapon. According to Israel's intelligence, the military official says that Iran has been advancing its secret operation to accelerate obtaining a nuclear weapon, and that Iran, and we just heard this from former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, essentially a very similar line. Israel believes Iran has enough fusion material to create 15 nuclear bombs within days. The Israeli military official said, quote, "We are nearing the point of no return," and that thousands of missiles have been created. This is ballistic missiles, which are an existential threat to Israel. So there you have it. And you might be able to hear that from my phone. That's the emergency alert going off, indicating that there's an alert coming in from Homefront Command. We'll take a look at that and let you know what it means in a second. But an Israeli military official acknowledging that this set of strikes, what the defense minister described as a preemptive strike, was indeed targeting Iran's nuclear facilities and its ballistic missile capabilities. In terms of what Brett McGurk has said, this was on the far more escalatory side of the targets, the options Israel had at its disposal. And that means that the region has just taken a big step towards a much broader regional war. That's been a concern here for such a long time. Now, of course, we wait to see how Iran retaliates for this, and we'll wait, of course, to see as the sun rises there in the next couple of hours, the damage from those strikes and how essentially how broad they were and their results.
And Orna, I just want to make sure we have the wording right on that. Direct strikes on nuclear facilities and what?
Iran's nuclear program and other military targets were the target of these strikes. Quote, dozens of targets in different areas across Iran.
Okay. Oren, continue to gather information. I'm here with Jim Sciutto. We're also going to bring in
one of the targets per foreign sources, nuclear scientists.
Jim, what do you make of what is happening?
Well, it's significant that they are striking not just missile sites as they did.
They love killing nuclear scientists. Israel's favorite thing to do is kill Iranian academics. After killing children, that's Israel's second favorite thing to do. Okay, is to assassinate Iranian nuclear scientists. Breaking: Israel has detected missile launches from Iran. There's chatters in Tehran and Iran saying that they're hearing that there is potentially some retaliatory strikes coming. War with Iran: the defense establishment detects launches towards Israel. They love doing what is it called, a scholasticide as well. Explosions reported in towns in Fordo, Iran's major nuclear. Wait, really? So they're targeting nuclear facilities and nuclear scientists and potentially like military command. But in any case, is this very different from previous missile exchanges between the two? I mean, it's larger. Israel has never directly struck Iran with this level of intensity in since this last skirmish, since like post October 7. They have struck Iran before, but this is the largest premeditated escalation coming from Israel beyond like striking an Iranian embassy compound in Syria. Senior Israeli official: high probability that Iran's chief of staff was eliminated. Israel has also canceled school and all non-essential activity knowing full well that they were going to hit Iran and then Iran was going to retaliate. And now more American tax dollars struck Iran. American munitions struck Iran. Now more American tax dollars and American defensive capabilities will defend Israel because Iran will understandably retaliate. So that's where we're at. Secretary Rubio is too busy fucking gargling Benjamin Netanyahu and the entire Israeli war cabinet's dick, saying tonight Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear. Iran should not target U.S. interests or personnel. Bullshit. Israel does not do anything without America's go-ahead. Israel does not do anything. I cannot stress this enough. Israel is America's weapon to wield in the region. Make no fucking mistake. This is peaceful Dawn, okay? This is peaceful Donnie saying, go ahead, strike Iran. Maybe it'll give us a better position in the fucking nuclear agreement, okay? It is bullshit. America offers additional targeting capabilities that Israel might not have. America already gives the weapons. America already gives the munitions. And America's defensive shield against Iranian retaliation is what gives Israel the confidence to fucking behave this way and put the lives of their entire population in danger. Okay? So for all the Israeli chatters in here right now, remember that. I'm sure you're already aware of it, but remember that. Tell your parents, tell your fucking neighbors. It is Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government's own personal ambition and America's go-ahead and America's targeting that has allowed this to happen. So whatever kind of retaliation that comes from Iran as an act of understandable self-defense, it will literally happen because America and the Israeli government does not give a fuck about anyone. Netanyahu does a 7
moments ago is
wow. Notice how it's in English. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, we know who the audience is. That's just so strange. So strange that Benjamin Netanyahu would deliver a 7-minute address to the nation in English. I'm sure there's a Hebrew one as well. But let's take a look.
Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons.
Bro, what are you saying? You're doing a genocide, like literally, not words, okay? This is the thing that frustrates me to no end. When motherfuckers that are in the process of doing a genocide, like war criminals, like actually designated war criminals for the crime of genocide, by the way, in a state that is currently doing an ethnic cleansing campaign and also conducting this ethnic cleansing campaign with a full-blown internet shutdown. There is no internet in Gaza right now. Okay, they've greatly escalated their conquest in North Gaza for a permanent occupation, and we don't even have information coming out of Gaza right now because they've shut off the internet. It's a full-blown blackout in Gaza since yesterday. This motherfucker, on the one hand, is saying that Iran is using genocidal language while he's doing a genocide, and also desperately trying to open up another front. It is so psychotic. Why aren't normies more openly upset with Israel? This is comic book levels of evil. I think people have just checked out. A lot of people have checked out. They just don't like Israel and they don't want to even think about it.
In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazis.
Oh my God, bro. What the fuck? Dude, you are doing a Holocaust right now. And not even to the perpetrators of the Holocaust. Like, you're literally, oh my God, brother, Jesus Christ. This guy will literally bring up the fucking Holocaust in like a traffic incident. You know what I mean? Holy fuck. It's just like everything. Yeah, I'm assuming he's going to hit October 7 right after this, obviously. First, he's going to talk about the Holocaust. Then he'll be like, and then remember October 7, which was kind of like a Holocaust, you know, but not what we are doing currently, which is literally also infinitely closer than October 7 to a real live streamed Holocaust.
Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow.
Damn, that's kind of anti-Semitic. You're right, man. Yes, I'm being an anti-Semite for saying that Benjamin Netanyahu weaponizes the memory of the most horrific act of violence perpetrated against Jewish people in an effort to literally justify his bloodlust against people who are not even fucking related to the Holocaust in any meaningful capacity, except for currently experiencing the modern version of one.
For our annihilation, to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
The latest death toll stands at 62,614 Palestinians. How is this comparable to the Holocaust? 62,000 is a Holocaust. What number of dead Palestinian children will you actually, at which point will you say it is just like the Holocaust? Is there a finite amount? Is there a number that'll satisfy your appetite for this comparison? You fucking animal. I mean, you were probably saying this a couple months ago, being like, oh, it's 40,000. Now it's 62,000. And by the way, that is a severe underestimation, okay? That is the most conservative estimation. That is just directly killed and logged in a hospital. Millions is way different. Oh, my Lord. It is a fucking genocide, okay? It is a genocide. And the systematic death and destruction and starvation campaign basically puts this at the equivalent, not of the totality, not the total number of murdered, of course, because the Holocaust was completed, okay? Except, technically, you being a fucking Nazi-style Holocaust denier for the current ongoing Holocaust would probably say, well, not all Jews died in the Holocaust, so 6 million. Yeah, but that doesn't mean every single Jew died, right? Is that because that's what you're doing with the Palestinians here? There's a reason why the prosecution of genocide revolves around intent, because looking at the collective, looking at the totality of deaths means that we're far too late, okay? Imagine if you talked like that, chatter about the Armenian genocide, people would be up your ass like crazy. Exactly. Yo, Haas, Iranian chatter here. They also hit an Iranian streamer's house who is also one of your fans. His Twitch ID is Cena Crash. He posts a video on Telegram. I can share it if you want. Wait, what? Like, can you imagine fucking saying it's only 20,000 children that Israel has killed? Like, shut the fuck up. Like only 62,000, overwhelming majority, women, children, and the elderly have been assassinated at least directly assassinated with bullets or bombings by the Israeli state that has been calculated. That number does not factor in all of the people that die because the entire healthcare system was also collapsed by the Israeli state. And people just didn't have access to medication or access to the normal medical care that they would require. This does not factor in the deaths of famine and famine-related diseases, deaths of malnutrition. How many images of starving children do you have to see that is identical to the Holocaust, by the way, like the kids in the fucking death camps? Identical, one-to-one, verbatim comparison, direct comparison, until you go, yeah, this is a genocide. It's actually pretty fucked up. Maybe Israel should stop. There are tens of thousands of bodies under the rubble that will never be recovered because Israel usually does two-tap, double strikes, double-tap strikes when people are trying to recover bodies.
Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be.
Again, a hypothetical attack on Israeli soil justifies Israel preemptively, and by their own estimation, preemptively fucking bombing Tehran. Imagine if Iran, understandably looking at what Israel has done so far in the region to every single country, including Iran, turned around and said, listen, we have to do a preemptive strike on Knesset members in the middle of Tel Aviv. It doesn't matter how many people we kill, because what are you going to do? We don't want Israel's doing a genocide right now. We don't want that genocide to come to our backyard as well. And they just fucking glassed Tel Aviv. Obviously, everyone would be disturbed by this, right? Everyone would be fucking righteously angry about this unimaginable death and destruction. But when Israel does it, it's totally fine, you know?
Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers...
There it is. He said, Holocaust, October 7, we have to do 1 million Holocausts to everyone around us now.
Of Israel rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year.
Yeah, according to a Harvard dataset study, the IDF estimates the population still alive in Gaza is 1.85 million. The population pre-October 7 was 2.2 million. Obviously, a big chunk of that number also is people who fled the Gaza Strip, who were allowed to flee the Gaza Strip. But the number of total deaths is far larger than 62,000. Make no mistake.
We struck back inside Iran itself. Yet in defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors.
Israel shot a fucking Palestinian child in the neck at one of those supposed GHF aid sites. A little boy. I'm not obviously going to show you the image because it's horrifying. I've seen it already, and it's a TOS violation. They shot him in the neck, a little boy who was trying to go to the GHF site, knowing full well that, you know, they've been killing people at the site every single fucking day, but he still took a gamble to save the lives of his family. And a sniper trained its sights on this little boy and shot him in the neck and killed him. Felix says, I'm praying for Allah to find a stash of tridents, and I'm praying for a Haredi riot against the draft and the concept of literacy.
They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you.
Yeah, it's with your children. Our fight is with your children. We're gonna kill your children. You have babies, and everyone knows Tehran has babies of Hamas and Hezbollah.
Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient...
Yeah, when he fucking said that, by the way, he said this about the Palestinians too.